Alright, welcome back to the channel. I am DeMarius Jackson with Jazz Improv Basics. In today's video, we're actually going to be talking about playing the clarinet. Now, as a saxophone player, specifically trying to deal with some of the issues that are accompanied with the clarinet and trying to how we can talk about improving those issues. Now, the number one thing I would say that, technically that kind of fixed my problem, or actually I'm still working on, was pulling my chin down. That was the one thing. Once the teacher got me in tune with trying to do that, that tremendously helped me. So most of the time, young clarinet players or saxophone players, we just literally take the clarinet, place it in our mouth, form some type of embouchure, and we go about playing the kind of things we know on saxophone, or like I said, if you're a beginner clarinet, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the one thing, like I said, that helped me was thinking of shmoo or prunes. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but I'll get close to the camera and it's going to look ridiculous, but you can try yourself and hopefully it will work. You want to say shmoo, shmoo. And with that motion, what we're doing is we're pulling down the chins and these corners are coming down. You can almost see the difference. Shmoo. Or prunes, like you want to say, tell your student, or you say prunes like it's really disgusting, prunes. And what's that going to do? It's going to create a flat chin. Saxophonists are notorious for playing clarinet without a flat chin. Just hopefully you can hear the difference, but I'll play the first example, no flat chin. All right, and then what we're going to do is think shmoo and pull down that chin and think flat chin. And hopefully you can hear the difference. It made a tremendous difference in my playing. Just think of those, that one thing. Another thing I think of is our vowels, A, E, I, O, and U. And it's kind of the same thing that I talked about in my Altissimo video. I'll put a link to it here if you're a saxophonist playing that. But it's thinking about those vowels, A, E, I, O, and U. You don't want to approach playing the clarinet with the O, with a very open oral cavity. You want to think kind of E, high tongue position creates faster air. So when you have that O, you're, right? We're doing that number. It's open. It's a lot of air. It's not very focused. But and when I think of that E, like almost I'm saying hissing, he, that creates that high tongue position that we need to create the faster air. So those two things in combination, pulling your chin down, keeping that flat chin, and think of those two cues before you play. So first thing I'll think about, I put my clarinet up thinking, pull that chin down, shmoo, and then I'm thinking, and I'll actually say it a couple of times before I play. So, right, a couple little glitches in there, but hopefully you get the point. So he and pulling that chin down are two things that tremendously help me. Now, the other thing that we talked about at the beginning of the video is technique. And like I said, playing, thinking of the saxophone, it kind of helps, but honestly, you don't want to think of the saxophone. You want to be like, okay, my G is D, and this is the equivalent to that. It's kind of you want to move away from that and think of this as its own instrument. You're a clarinetist, not a saxophonist playing clarinet, even though I'll probably title my video that. All right, so two books that helped me. I'll put them up here. I'll put a link to them in the description where you can find them, or you can go find them on your own. But this one is called Alessandro Carbonara Clarinetto. I don't speak Italian. I probably butchered that one. But this one in particular really helped me with toning. And it has specific exercises. It seems really easy, but when you focus in on tone and uniformity of tone across the registers of the clarinet, it can get very, very difficult. So if you ever get this book, I'll show it really quickly. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but this is one of the examples. All it is simply an arpeggio, right? I'll play a little bit of it, and what I do is I put a metronome at 44, and it's eighth notes. And I don't even have my metronome now, so I'll just play it. Essentially, you want to play it slowly. And you want to think about uniformity of tone throughout the registers. And once again, here's a fair warning. I'm still working on it myself. So here we go. and then you, etc., you go on to the next exercise. So if you listen very closely, you know, obviously crossing over from that break, it's a little bit of, you know, it's not uniform. And those are the things that we kind of want to clear up. So like I said, you apply those tips that we talked about with the shmoo and the high tongue position sound that might clear up a couple of issues between you or maybe some students that you have. Now, the other one that I'll tell you about to help me out on the technique side of things is a staple. Hopefully you already have it. I played the example in the opening of this video, but the Behrman complete method for clarinet. There are many editions of these floating around, but it's all pretty much the same kind of deal. Sit there and hammer it out. Do not be ashamed. I'll show you like some of the simplest things. I don't even know if you can see it in here on my C major. Luckily, I didn't write the date on there because we're still working on these things. But you know, you can look at these. A minor, I have LR, you know, just kind of little cues to help me remember what fingering to use until it becomes natural. Some people are for it. Some people are against it. At the end of the day, you got to do what helps you out the most, and how you remember things is kind of up to you. We all learn differently. So once again, this is just one approach to it. So once again, hopefully that helped you, or maybe it will help somebody that you are teaching, or you know, somebody down the line. If you got something out of the video, please leave me a comment. I would love to read those. I like to respond. Subscribe to the channel, like all that good stuff, and until next time, I will see you. And we should probably do a jazz video on here. I think the only thing I know is yeah, about that. I'm gonna go practice.